Hey, what's going on guys? John here. Today I'm actually going to be doing an unboxing and fully detailed demo and review of this is basically the CarTablet Pro Max. This is the 2024 model. So we're going to start out by actually unboxing this. I'll show you everything that's inside, and then I'm actually going to basically go through several things in this video. I'm going to show you how to put it on the dashboard, how to plug it in, how to connect it with either your Apple or Android device. I'm actually going to use an Android device for that. How to open basically Android Auto, how to connect the actual screen to your car speakers with the aux cable it comes with, basically show you all the features with like the built-in FM transmitter, Bluetooth, so on and so forth. And then I'm going to show you how to go about connecting the reverse camera as well as how to actually use the dash cam. So let's go through and unbox this and first show you everything inside. Take a look at the unit itself. So this is actually fairly large. One of the really cool things about this is if you maybe have an older car that either doesn't have like the newer Android or Apple CarPlay functionality, this is something that actually has all that built in, and it simply just sits right on the top of the dash. So here you can see there's a large mounting plate here, and then this actually has a very bright large screen. You have a little tear off thing here. I'll take this off. And of course we won't power this until I get into the car, but let's actually go through all the accessories just so you have some idea of what to expect. So this is basically one of the cameras. This basically has a mounting piece here and then the camera itself right there. And then you have all of these connecting wires that will go into this. We have our charger here. So this is basically your cigarette lighter based charger, and then USB-C port, which will plug directly into this. It comes with a sticker plate, so if you choose, you can actually mount this right to the base of this plate and then just stick it right on your dash. And then you also have this optional choice where you can use this to mount it. So if you want to like move it, this essentially, I'll open this up so you have a better idea, is an alternative way to mount, where you have this large mounting bracket. So this will actually connect through the back right here, and then this piece comes off, and you can see it's got a suction, and the suction also has a very sticky material, which is super sticky, so that way the adhesion's really good on this. Now we also have the included aux cable, which again I'll show you how to hook up with the existing speakers. And then we also have our product user guide. So we'll take a minute here and go through this. This basically has color directions on everything, so it goes through Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then you also have AirPlay link. On the other side, it goes through wireless link, sound transmitted back to the car horn, other functions and interfaces. So looking at the top here, you basically have the audio interface, local sound output, which is right here up on the top. And then you also have, in fact, it's actually, you know, basically some of these are in different places, but you've got, for example, here on the side, there's the TF slot right there. And then on the top we have our main power button. On the back here we have our camera, and then we also have, as it mentions here, like where you're basically plugging in your USB port, so on and so forth. Goes through some common problems you could be facing, as well as a warranty card. So pretty straightforward, not really a whole lot to get this up and running. Let's go ahead and we're going to go through each of these inside my car. Alright, so first I want to show you the mounting options for this. So basically there's a back bracket here. These 4 screws can come off on the back. This nut basically can be either used to tighten or loosen this. And then you have the large bracket here. This essentially has the option where you can put this stick pad underneath this and then attach this to the dash. This is probably a little bit more of a permanent option because this will really stay stuck on. So what I'm probably going to do is use the alternate option, which is basically to use the suction mount, and you essentially will have to unscrew the 4 bolts. They're just 4 tiny screws, and then you're going to mount them here. So I'm going to go ahead, get a screwdriver, and we'll go ahead and mount this now. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so I've gone ahead and mounted this plate on the back, essentially just adding in those 3 screws. And I tore off the sticky tape here in the bottom. Now pretty much all we would do, and in this case I'm actually going to put it up here in the back. This will basically mount up here, and then I can actually adjust this down as needed. So I'm going to see if I can do this with one hand just to give you an idea, but pretty much I'm just putting pressure, and then now I've tightened the back bolt on this, and now it's pretty much ready to go. All right, let me show you how to connect this to power. So basically you have the cable here. This basically has the USB-C end on one side, and then you have the cigarette lighter adapter on the other. In most cases, in most vehicles, you're either going to have the cigarette lighter up towards the front here, like I do in my dash, and then you may even have an additional one inside your glove box, which I actually have here. I'm sorry, the center console. So you have this here. This does also additionally have a USB port, so if you wanted to plug in like a phone charger or something like that, you could additionally still use that. This basically will now shut, and usually what I'll do is you have all this extra wire, I'll kind of run it up through the visor area, maybe up through the top of the ceiling, and just kind of mount it that way so it's out of the way, maybe like under the seat and then across, up, and then around. So it's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and connect this. Alright, so now I wanted to talk a little bit about connecting the rear camera. You're going to have a couple cables with the rear camera here. So the first is the actual camera itself. Here you can see this is the camera lens, and then you have this small bracket. This basically has two holes on either side, so you can actually mount this wherever you're going to be putting it in the rear side of your vehicle. Beyond that, this basically has two connection points. They almost look like old school RCA cables. So you basically have your yellow and then your red. On the additional cable this comes with, you're going to run this through your entire car. You can see this is quite long, and then the red connector will go to red, yellow to yellow, and then additionally you have this cable here. This almost looks like a standard audio jack. This is actually going to plug in right where my finger's pointing here. This is the AV in. So I'm going to see if my camera focuses here, but this is basically where you're going to plug it in. It's directly right next to the USB-C port. So let me see if we can get this to come in. But it'll plug in just like this. And obviously once we connect those other two, you're pretty much good to go. Now you have the ability that you can use the reversing camera, and then you can actually connect this. So whenever you're going in reverse in the vehicle, this will actually sense that, and you can essentially get a rear camera function with this. If you choose not to use it, maybe you already have a rear camera, obviously you don't need to connect this, so it's completely optional. Alright, so let me now show you how to connect the aux cable to the device. Essentially, you'll just take off the ribbon here on the side, and then this connector end, you'll see it actually is labeled right where I'm pointing is aux. So this is going to go into the port here, and then the other end is going to go directly into your stereo. In my case, I'm going to be using the Bluetooth functionality. My stereo does not actually support aux. It is very common that stereos will have aux inside of your dashboard, so in most cases you'll just be kind of plugging it in here somewhere towards the front, and then now you could have music directly play into the car stereo utilizing that. Alright, so now that we have power, here's kind of what it looks like. It boots up very quickly. You have your time settings here. This is basically your FM radio. You also have your TF card settings, so this is basically where you'd control your micro SD card. It does not include one, so you would need to get that optionally. You have your Bluetooth settings, your phone link, clock, and then calendar. You also have your main menu up here at the top left, your volume. This basically, I believe, also is the time, and then any other settings here, like in terms of brightness, back, and then you have this main button as well. So I think you could just change this out for profile. If we click on menu, I believe this will just bring me back to where I am now. So if we wanted to do Bluetooth, you can see here I have all the connections for that. I can simply just hit the back button and then go through any of these. So we'll just kind of go through all of them. This is the FM settings, so you can do a bunch of presets. You have all your Bluetooth settings in here. Obviously it's currently off. If we hit back, I can go into the TF settings, but right now it just gives me an error because we don't have the card in. If we want to do our phone link settings, we can come in here and you can see we have CarPlay, AirPlay, Android Auto, wireless link. We'll do Android Auto here in a minute. And then we also have our clock settings. So this basically just gives you everything here you have for your time settings. You can do factory reset, equalizer, display settings, wallpaper, screensaver, language, and then currently we're on clock as well as the current version. So if we hit back, we can also go to a calendar and you can basically set up a current calendar in here. So pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead next and we will set up the Android Auto. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up Android Auto. And again, this will work fairly similarly for any of these, but basically we're just going to click on the Auto button, and now it gives us a little bit of information. So it's going to tell us what the Bluetooth name is. So on my phone, I'm actually going to open up, I'll do this here on my phone off to the side, and I'll show you here in a second. I'm basically opening my Bluetooth settings, and I'm just going to look for new Bluetooth devices, and this should show up here as one of the options. And basically that's the exact device I'm looking for as one of the new options. So I was able to pull it up here, and this is basically what it looks like. So just to match it, it says car BT99B5. So here you can see it in the list. I'm going to hit pair, and then it's going to start the pairing attempt. It also says there's a PIN code, so if it asks for that, that's basically what I'm looking for. So this came back and it said confirm the passkey is shown. I'm basically just going to say pair, and we'll see if this connects. And it's now asking me to hit allow. I'm going to say allow. And it's now loading. So it takes a second here, and you can see it's just pulling up. And there we have Android Auto. So at this point, now that we're loaded into Android Auto, this is going to pretty much work as it normally would. We have our map, I have my music, and then at any time I can just utilize all the main functions. So I've got everything here in terms of my messenger and everything that I would normally use in Android Auto, and this is pretty much ready to go.